Today, we're going to walk through a story about how one family was systematically, terrifyingly destroyed by a dark force, something called a Masan. Now, this account is genuinely chilling, and it actually starts with a warning. And listen, that's not just for dramatic effect. The events we're about to cover are, well, they're deeply disturbing. So let's get into it. So, our story starts in a small village in Guna, Madhya Pradesh, and it centers on a young man named Jeetu. Before all the horror began, his life was, well, it was perfectly normal. I mean, picture this, a really close-knit, happy family. Jeetu's married sister lived right across from them. His uncle and aunt were neighbors. Life was full, it was simple, and it felt safe. But all that happiness, it was balanced on a razor's edge, about to be shattered in the most brutal way you can imagine. It all started with the youngest member of the family. Jeetu's little 2-year-old nephew just suddenly refused to eat anything, and his health went downhill so fast it was terrifying. They rushed him from hospital to hospital, they took him to local healers, they tried everything they could think of, but nothing worked. In just a matter of days, the little boy was gone. The entire family was just consumed by a grief they thought was natural, a tragic loss. But for Jeetu, that grief was about to curdle into a deep, personal, and unforgettable terror. On the night of the funeral, the house was packed with mourners, and in the chaos, Jeetu overheard his mother and sister talking in these hushed, terrified whispers. They used a word he didn't understand, but the fear in their voices, it was unmistakable. Masan. Okay, so we need to pause here, because this is the crucial part of the story. A Masan isn't just a ghost. In this kind of folklore, it's a very specific, targeted curse. It's a destructive entity, literally born from dark rituals and sent with one single horrifying purpose: to wipe out an entire family, one by one. The death of his nephew, it wasn't just a tragedy. It was the first move. Because the house was so full, Jeetu had to sleep outside in their family field. So there he is, lying under this vast, dark sky with that one word, Masan, just echoing in his head. You can bet sleep was the last thing on his mind. When he finally did drift off, he woke up with a jolt. There was this suffocating weight pressing down on his chest. He tried to move, he tried to scream, but nothing. His whole body was pinned down, completely paralyzed. He couldn't even lift a finger, just pure ice-cold panic. And that's when he saw it. Looming over him in the darkness was a figure, a colossal black shadow, had to be 8 feet tall. Its shape was kind of shifting and indistinct, except for two things, two burning, red, demonic eyes that were staring directly into his soul. He finally managed to let out a scream, and in a flash, it was gone. You know, the family tried to dismiss the nightmare. Grief does strange things to the mind, right? But 2 months later, the curse came back, and this time, it was for Jeetu's mother. The change was just shockingly fast. Try to get your head around this. His mother, who had been a healthy, strong woman, we're talking 85 kilograms, was reduced to a skeletal 40 kilograms. That happened in just 60 days, a truly horrifying transformation. And her symptoms were just bizarre. They defied any kind of medical logic. She would complain about this chilling coldness that started in her feet and would just creep its way up to her chest. And it filled her with this unexplainable rage. She stopped eating entirely. Doctors ran every test you can imagine, and they found absolutely nothing wrong with her. But the physical decay, that was nothing compared to what was happening to her mind. Her personality twisted into something cruel, something alien. When Jeetu tried to comfort his own mother, she would lash out with this venom he had never seen before, screaming at him with a voice that didn't even sound like hers. Finally, the doctors just gave up. They basically admitted defeat, telling the family that whatever was happening to her was beyond the reach of medical science. Their final prescription wasn't medicine, it was a temple. So, completely desperate, the family turns away from science and towards the supernatural. They were hoping for some kind of miracle from a Tantrik. And for a split second, it really seemed like they found one. The Tantrik performed some rituals and offered them a lifeline. Don't worry, he told them, just bring her back on the next full moon and she will be completely cured. For the first time in months, that family felt a real spark of hope. But the curse wasn't going to wait. That hope was just extinguished a few days later. While they were staying at a relative's house, his mother's agonizing screams just ripped through the night. The family rushed into a scene of absolute horror. The skin on her feet, it was peeling away, coming off in sheets, right in her own hands. They got her to the hospital, but it was useless. On the third night, Jeetu, who was back at their village home, was being tormented by the relentless wailing of a black cat right outside. He couldn't shake this deep, horrible feeling of dread. At 2 o'clock that morning, his mother passed away. The curse had claimed its second victim. The family was completely shattered, but the Masan, it was cold, patient, methodical, and it wasn't finished, not by a long shot. Almost immediately after the mother's funeral rites were done, Jeetu's aunt fell ill. And the symptoms were terrifyingly familiar. That creeping cold, the refusal to eat, the unexplainable rage. The pattern was horrifying, and there was just no denying it anymore. They raced to a different Tantrik, desperate for any kind of answer. And he listened as they told him everything that had happened, and his face just grew darker and darker. He looked at what was left of this shattered family and delivered the final, devastating truth in this quiet, chilling voice. And that is the terrifying heart of this story. The source of this unimaginable evil wasn't some distant enemy or some random demon. It was someone they knew, someone they trusted, someone they invited into their home and called family. It just leaves you with one very unsettling question. Who do you really trust?